Andrew Sheldon, I know that we have to lose you soon because it's coming up to about 4:45 in the morning, so thank you for staying up. But just respond to what Alexei said there. Do you believe that tackling corruption has to start at the top and work down?
Most certainly. I think it's very difficult because, say, in the Philippines, we've got a leader who very much depends on corruption in order to maintain the loyalty of his, deputies or lieutenants. So it's by no means easy. I'm reminded in Vietnam of a little girl who was making money from tourists because she was, a cute little girl, and there was a local policeman I saw chasing her down the street to get some of her money. And as Alexei was saying, underpaid policemen see this as bounty, and yes.
Well, Andrew, thank you ever so much for staying up to speak to us and coming on to World Have Your Say. Lots of your comments coming into us. Bib Husit in Nepal has placed his comment on Facebook. He says, it's up to us, the people, to end the corruption. It's us. We can't rely on our government and the politicians, just as we can't ask a cat to look after milk. Well, let's introduce another person into our discussion. Live from Delhi, we can speak to Nitin Pandey, who is a businessman in Delhi. Welcome to World Have You Say. Thank you for taking the time out to speak to us. What's your experience of corruption?
Everybody here in India are all the officials are corrupted actually, and the people know that they can do their work by giving bribe, so they don't believe in the laws of the government, and so they give bribe and they do their work.
So does that mean that you give bribes?
Yeah, I also give bribe.
Give us an example of what? What have you paid for, and how much have you paid?
Like from a parking lot to for a export license, we need to pay bribe. Like from traveling from one city to another during borders checkup, we need to pay the bribe. We know that we need to pay.
Well, let's bring in Jim, who's on the phone line still with us from Chicago. Jim, we heard there from Delhi, this is part of everyday life, and it's almost factored in to Nitin's business plan. Do you think that that can work sometimes?
Well, first of all, when we talk about corruption, we talk about power, ego, greed, and it's been around for a long, long time. In Chicago, for example, city councilmen, which I was one of, we've had 30 city councilmen over 30 years being convicted and sent to jail. So that's one a year. We've had 4 governors in the state of Illinois being convicted of corruption charges over the last 20 years. We have more FBI agents in the state of Illinois than anywhere else in the country, and it's not by coincidence. It's by design, because we have so much corruption here, and it goes to the heart of what people, they believe that you can't get anything done without paying somebody. So, I mean, it's culturally prevalent over the years, not only in Chicago, but in big cities like Boston, New York, and major industrial cities where politicians, it's been a way of life. And not only politicians, like I said, inspectors, policemen who shake down drug dealers, who sell the drugs. And I mean, this goes on and on and on. And you can start from the top and work your way down and have ethics ordinances and vote corrupt politicians out. But it goes to the heart and soul of what public service is about, and it's about serving the public. And no matter how hard we try, I think corruption will be with us forever and ever.
Jim, thank you very much for joining us on the line from Chicago. Wherever you are in the world, if you want to join the conversation, you can text us, country code 447786 206080. Maria, I'd like you to talk to Nitin, because he's just told us from Delhi that he factors bribery, corruption into his business. You're obviously not happy with corruption in Kenya. Talk to Nitin.
Hi, Nitin.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. It's funny you mentioned that businesses factor this right into, it's like almost a tax that you have to pay. I think the same thing is happening here in Kenya as well. It's part of your annual budget, actually, that you factor in, corruption and bribery as part of your taxes. I don't know if it's the same thing there in India, in Delhi.
Yeah, we have the same thing, and if we want to fight for the corruption. We need a very long process, and businessmen and all the working people don't have this much time to go after the bribe and corruption. So they are happy in paying the bribe and getting their jobs done.
Okay, tell me something, Nitin. Is the pay structure also maybe a problem then in Delhi? Because I think that's also part of the problem then in Kenya, because then the pay structure doesn't make sense then with the kind of lifestyle and the economic status of people. Maybe that would be a contributing factor?
Yeah, definitely it is also a very contributing factor.
Well, thank you very much to all of our guests joining us here on World Have Your Say. I have to apologise, we're going to have to leave this conversation slightly earlier than planned because we're going to go over to the BBC News channel now to take live coverage of the protests that are happening in London due to the tuition fees vote which has happened in Westminster today.